Hello everybody, this is Chris Bird or MonkeyDude1313 and this is a near complete master set of Gym Heroes. This set came out in 2000, 8 years after I was born, and I'm absolutely in love with this set. Before we get into it though, I want to mention two quick things. The first of which is our most recent video was Monday, Master Set Monday with Stormfront from the Diamond and Pearl era. Highly recommend you check it out. Most people don't even know those cards exist. And then our Wishlist Wednesday from last week was Legendary Treasures, where we're only missing a few of the really tiny cards. So if you want to see a basically complete master set of Legendary Treasures from the Black-White era, including the Radiant Collection, go check that out. In this video, not only are we going to be featuring a nearly complete master set of Gym Heroes, we're also going to be featuring Gym Challenge as like a cameo, a debut, and I have a stack of other times where blanks Pokemon have appeared in the TCG, all the way from vintage to modern. So that will be fun to go over as we get there. So without further ado, let's jump right on into it. So this set was the first of the two Gym series sets in the United States, or in English. This one featured the first four gym leaders from Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow: Brock, Misty, Lieutenant Surge, and Erica. Of course, as you can see here, we have Blaine's Moltres, which means we actually do feature all 8 and Rocket, technically, but they put heavy emphasis on the first 4, and Gym Challenge over here puts emphasis on the other 4, the later 4 in Kanto. So we're going to be doing a lot of looking into the original gym leaders here. However, there's a little bit of confusion on whether this was the first time we actually got blanks Pokemon or not, because in Jungle and Fossil, the sets that came out before this, and Team Rocket, we didn't specifically get Blaine's blank. We didn't get Ash's blank. We just got Aerodactyl, Snorlax, whatever. So, this set was the first one in English to come out with these. However, from this stack over here, we have Lance's Charizard, which came out in the VS set. But is this the first set that had it? Or this one? Well, neither. Because Gym Heroes, or the equivalent of Gym Heroes in Japanese, was the first to have it. But setting that aside, this set came out in 2000, and this VS series came out in 2001. So, technically, we got this set first before we got the 3 VS series expansions. But something fun to point out there. Also, we have seen trainers' Pokemon in other places. For example, back in Supreme Victors, we got Charizard G level X, and the G is for Team Galactic, and they feature Cyrus's face on there, similar to how these cards feature the gym leader's face down there in the corner. And before we get too deep into Gym Heroes, just wanted to throw out that here are some other examples. From another set, we have another one referencing Cyrus, again Team Galactic, and then we have this one featuring Lucian, which is the 4th of the Elite Four members in Sinnoh in Gen 4. So they feature the card, they feature the character, who presumably raised the Pokemon. However, it's not listed in the title there. So, a little bit different, but a little bit the same. Also very cool. And finally, at least for the Owns X cards, we have these guys from Journey Together. And I wanted to feature all of them because I don't think Journey Together gets enough love, but recently we started up again with N's Zoroark, where we directly feature the trainer's name on the card, and in a lot of cases, we actually feature the trainer itself somewhere on the card, rather than being relegated to a little box in the corner. So, from Journey Together, we have Nen Zoroark, Hops Zacian, Iono's Bellibolt, and the one everyone's looking for, Lily's Clefairy EX. So, multiple of these got different reprints from within the same set of different rarities. And of course, there's a lot more than just Lily's Clefairy. We have a lot of Lily's X and Iono's Y, but I thought I'd pull out the big shiny ones for you guys to take a look at. We're going to keep Lily's Clefairy out for a certain reason here, but we're already 4.5 minutes in and we haven't even looked at Gym Heroes yet much. So, usually we store first edition first in the binder. In this case, though, to kind of preserve the Wishlist Wednesday magic and to keep up interest, we have moved the first editions to the latter half of the binder. So you'll just have to wait and see when we get there. But I will do a slow flip here through all of the Unlimiteds and give some little chit-chat about them. This set, as I mentioned, featured gym leaders, but it also features Team Rocket. So you have Rocket's Trap, Rocket's Hitmonchan, Rocket's Scyther, and of course, the one that people like the most, presumably, Rocket's Moltres. I only claim that people like it the most because Nintendo actually put out Team Rocket's Moltres EX very recently, and it is an extremely beautiful card that many people seem to love. So, given that it got the SIR treatment, I'm going to guess that Pokemon knew that this was one of the fan favorites. So, I'll quickly pull out Rocket's Moltres here. We can give a little bit of a look-see at the creep that has happened, from 60 HP to 220, from 3 energies for 40 to 3 energies for 110, and that's even the weak attack. So, a little bit interesting to see how the numbers have escalated hugely between the year 2000 and the year 2025. But that makes sense. Creep just kind of happens in games like this. Alright, so since I'm going to pull out all these holos later, minus maybe one or two, we will continue on without too much delay. Erika's Clefairy here, I want to give a little bit of a special mention to, because even though on the first page we saw Erika's Clefable, I just like to have it as a cute little headcanon that when Erika decided she was no longer going to train Pokemon all that seriously, she decided to trade her Clefairy over to Lily. So, fun little headcanon. I know there's absolutely zero backup for this, and there's no way it's actually real, but, you know, kind of fun to just think about it, that Erika's Clefairy may be now Lily's Clefairy. Who knows? If one of you guys is a complete anime nerd, you may have some amount of information on that could help. And if you do know, post in the comments. I'd love to hear it. Alright, but moving right along, we will go through and we will see that we have every single unlimited card in Gym Heroes. And yet again, I'll pause. Rocket Snorlax in this set is the only non-holo card that features specifically Rocket's Pokemon and the Rocket face on it. We have a bunch of trainers referencing Rocket, but in general, this is the only Rocket's non-holo Pokemon in Gym Heroes. Not true for Gym Challenge. Then we have the reprint, well, spiritual successor to, I suppose, Rocket Snorlax EX from Team Rocket Returns. This card is absolutely beautiful, and I'm very glad I paid $37 for it when I did, because it is absolutely ridiculous right now. I think this card is going for like 600 bucks. Very expensive, but love this card. Similarly, this set did not have any Rocket's Meowth. It was only in Gym Challenge where we got some Rocket's Meowths, and I'll bring those out here in a second. But I wanted to give a little bit of a shout out to Team Rocket's Meowth Black Star promo from way back when. This card is fantastic. You may recognize it from the intro to some other videos here on YouTube, but we have a little Charizard there, and all of these are different Pokemon that are like little shadows that Meowth is fighting off. Is it a dream? Is it an actual miraculous comeback in real life? Who knows, but kind of fun to ponder about. Alright, so before we get too far into this, as I've said many times, let us bring out Gym Challenge. Gym Challenge is a beautiful set, and again, I've moved the first editions to the back to preserve the fun, but we have Giovanni's Persian. So I had mentioned that Rockets got more things in here, and I consider Rockets and Giovanni's to be the same. Meaning, Giovanni's the leader of Rocket, so even though he's a gym leader, he's also the leader of Team Rocket, so it kind of works. But we have Giovanni's Persian, and then if we skip a little bit into the set here, we will be able to find, where is it? Giovanni's Meowth. Nice. Love it. Very cool card. Very happy that he got featured, but I've given you enough spoilers from this binder for now, so we will put it away and move right along with Gym Heroes. Alright, so back to what we were talking about with Gym Heroes. Rocket's Pokemon. We didn't get a lot of Rocket's Pokemon in here aside from the Holos. Alright, so continuing the slow flip, finishing out the Unlimiteds, and I think we get one more flip after this one before we get on to the beginning of the first Eds. I'm actually lying. We get one more after this because we have all the energies. And then one more onto the main set. So, back to the beginning. First edition holofoils. This is where the prices go way up. But let's take each one of these out and take a nice little look at them. Blaine's Moltres. We got this at a card show about 3 months ago. Absolutely beautiful. I gave the offer to the vendor of about 87% of what he was asking, because it's really hard to value these vintage cards. And then when I decided to pick up a Delibird from him from Neo Revelation First Edition, he countered with an offer even lower than mine. So I ended up paying even less than I was originally intending for this and the Delibird. So, fun little story there. Very cool card. Rocks right on. In another video I mentioned, but this was the first card that my dad ever bought for me as a single. And up until this set and this point, my dad hadn't really shown a ton of interest in Pokemon aside from casual parents making sure their kids are not doing anything bad. But at this point was the first time he actually went out of his way and bought me a single from Pokemon. And so this card, even though it's not all that fantastic of a card otherwise, holds a lot of very positive memories for me. Next up, Erica's Clefable. Love these Cosmos Holo patterns. And very much love the simplistic art, background art that really shows off the sparkle pattern in the Cosmos. Awesome. Okay, so this card always confused me. I'm guessing it's an anime thing, but I don't know for sure. Why did Erica's Dragonair never evolve? And it feels like they could have put an Erica's Dragonite in here, but maybe they associated more the elegance of Dragonair with Erica rather than the big kind of Barney dopiness of Dragonite. But who knows? I have a few theories, but none really set in stone. Either way, absolutely beautiful card. And since there was no Dragon type back in the day, Dragon was always represented as colorless. Erica's Vileplume. I believe this was the first holo I ever pulled from Gym Heroes back when I was a kid. Not first edition, of course, but this was the first holo I ever pulled from that set. Love it, love it. Similarly, Lieutenant Surge's Electabuzz was my brother's first card that he pulled from Gym Heroes, and I always wanted this from him. I tried to trade with him for it a million times, and I always got no, partially because he really liked it, but also partially because he was a big brother, and saying no is fun. So when we battle with it, he was always murdering me, because charge and discharge are very powerful and hard to stop when they keep knocking out all your Pokemon. But I have very fond memories of this card, mostly because of my brother. Next up, Lieutenant Surge's Fearow. Beautiful Fearow card. Not too much to say, other than, of course, Lieutenant Surge never had a Fearow in the games, but some of his trainers in his gym had Spearows. So that could be why Lieutenant Surge has a Fearow here. Lieutenant Surge's Magneton. Next up. This one I have decently fond memories with as a kid. Not for any fantastic reason, but just because I remember having it and being very happy that I had it. So, very nice. Very, very nice. I'm trying to go a little bit quicker so we can get through stuff. Misty's Seadra. Another beautiful card. We picked this up from DGen before we knew they were DGen. Before they knew they were DGen, as far as I know, but 8 or 9 months ago at least. And love it. Love this card. And something to mention about this, I think we have it in this binder. And if we do, it'll be at the back. But there's also a pre-release version of this that we have. So Misty Seadra got a pre-release print. Alright, so now for the second grand reveal of this set. We will see one of the first reasons why this is a Wishlist Wednesday. We do not have the Rocket's Trap holo in first edition. This card right here. We don't have that in first edition. So that is the first card from our master set that we are missing. This one, stupid expensive. I'll get there when we get there. But Misty's Tentacruel, beautiful card. Picked this up for 30 or 40 bucks. Very, very nice. It has a little bit of extra scratching in there that I like, but not too big of a deal. Next up, Rocket's Hitmonchan. Hitmonchan, even in the games, wasn't really... Rocket, even in the games, was not known for having Hitmonchan and Hitmonlee, but here we are. Neat card anyway. Rocket's Moltres, like I pulled out earlier. This is another extremely clean copy of the card. The holo is very, very nice here. Alright. Rocket's Scyther. Moving right along. We had this guy in first ed for quite a while, and we did not have it in Unlimited. So every time we'd be at card shows looking for this card, we were hoping to find Unlimited, and we just kept finding first edition, which, it's neat to see a lot of first edition vintage out there, but when it's a card you don't need, you kind of just wish it didn't have that stamp on it so you could pick it up. Now the biggest one, the entire set, obviously the most expensive card, is first edition Sabrina's Gengar Holo. The condition on this card is really, really good. It's not going to 10 by any stretch, and it probably wouldn't even 9 given PSA's more strict standards now. But it has a very beautiful swirl right there next to Gengar's head. And otherwise, this card is very clean. Absolutely love this card. I wasn't planning on spending that much money when we went to the show that day. But the first time you see a first Ed Sabrina's Gengar in the wild, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Because you're not going to find another raw one. People just grade this card constantly. All right, and this was the first time, aside from Here Comes Team Rocket, from Team Rocket, the previous set, one of the first times that we got actual holo trainers. And so we got Brock here, repping the Boulder badge behind him. Next up, because of the alphabet, we have Erica, not Misty. Erica with the rainbow badge behind her. Very nice. Lieutenant Surge. All right. Lovely, lovely. And finally, we have Misty. And this Misty has a little bit of a story about her. Look at how clean this Misty is, aside from one thing. So the holo looks great. There's some minor scratches, although most of those scratches we're seeing are on the sleeve. But then if you look over here, right here, there's a little bit of like pinpoint scuffing. It gets blown out whenever you look at it at the wrong angle, but there you go. That's a very good way of visualizing it. That is like the only issue with the front of this card. Otherwise, it's very nice. And then when you look at, maybe it's a tiny bit right heavy, but then when you look at the back, you also notice that there's not too much wrong with it. I mean, there's little white dots here and there, like there's 2 white dots there and 1 there, but otherwise the back of this card is really, really clean. So why do I draw attention to it? Well, if I shift the camera a bit, I can show you here that we have a PSA label. We actually cracked this Misty out of a slab. So I should have pulled this out before the video started. I actually don't have an implement for it, but this is a PSA 7 sticker for Misty. And I can't tell why this got a 7 unless they marked that little scuff mark very highly. So if that little scuff mark is enough for it to drop from what I would have guessed would be a solid 8, potential 9, down to a 7, then I'm very glad I spent in $120 less for this card than I would have needed to for a PSA 8. Because for that tiny little thing that may even be fixable, this is a fantastic copy of this card. Very happy to have it. All right, so lots and lots of yapping. Rocket's Trap, first edition holo, we don't have it. Otherwise, many of the first edition's non-holo rares here. And all of these ones as well. Luckily, we had this one ourselves before we started going to card shows, because this card is like $150 right now. Snorlax is a popular Pokemon. It's one of the oldest, first edition, blah, blah, blah. Very, very sought after card. And then as we keep going, we see that we're missing another card. This is an Erica's Oddish, I believe. And what's interesting is that this set in the uncommons had sometimes the base level and the evolved version right next to each other. And so are there any other examples of that on this page? Here we go. Erica's Execute and Executor. Same rarity, but this is the evolved form. Interesting. All right, so Erica's Oddish there is another card we're missing. Moving right along, we're missing this guy. I don't remember exactly what that is. Let me check. It is Brock's Onix. And then down here in this corner is Lieutenant Surge's Pikachu first edition. So we're missing both of those. We have this entire page, which is mostly commons, and then a few non-holo rare trainers. And I would like to bring attention to the Misty on the page after this one. But Blaine got multiple quizzes, by the way. And these quizzes were actually quite goofy. If you read the text on that card, put a basic Pokemon or evolution card from your hand face down in front of you and tell your opponent its name. Your opponent guesses the length of that Pokemon. Flip the card over. If your opponent guessed right, he or she draws 2 cards. If they guessed wrong, you draw 2. Either way, return the Pokemon to your hand. So, you would say to your opponent, without them seeing this card, Sabrina's Mr. Mime, and you'd keep length 4 foot 3 inches in mind, and then you'd put it face down in front of you, and your opponent would need to guess how long Sabrina's Mr. Mime is. Well, Sabrina's Mr. Mime is actually tall, not long, but depending on which direction you are longer, the Pokemon Company decided that we would use length. So Sabrina's Mr. Mime is length 4 foot 3 inches. Your opponent would not guess, and so for a basic trainer, you basically got a bill. Fun! Who doesn't love a bill? Alright, into the trainers. Again, another page where we're not missing anything, but I wanted to draw some attention to this Misty. The non-holo versions of the gym characters had different artwork on them than the holo versions did. So if you recall, when I had pulled the Misty out before, you got to see a majority of her upper body and her head looking straight at you. Now you get a different art here. So I thought that was neat. Not all of them, I guess. Just Misty, I think, only got a new one. Let me check real quick. Yeah, Brock didn't either. All of them got the same except for Misty. But favoritism at its finest, I suppose. Okay. Not too much else to say here. Lovely cards, though. Lovely cards. And then, next up, this is where we're missing the other 3 cards. So first edition energies are hard to come by, especially since we don't want to buy them online. So we're missing a grass and a fighting energy. And then the last trainer we're missing is actually, it's called like Secret Mission or something. And I'm going to go back to it because I would really like to feature a Secret Mission in this video. Because there's a little bit of a secret that I don't know if you guys have seen before. Okay, Secret Mission features Lieutenant Surge there, looking through some binoculars with some like red map behind him. And it also features Raichu, who is also looking through a little cute pair of binoculars there. An adorable Easter egg that some people may have missed when looking at this card otherwise. Very easy to focus on the big man in green than on the cute little mouse in the corner. Alrighty, well, that is a long-winded video of our Wishlist Wednesday for Gym Heroes. We're missing 1 holo, 2 Pokemon, I believe, or 3 Pokemon, 1 trainer, and 2 energies, for a total of 7 cards missing from the set. And luckily for us, the Rocket Strap is the cheapest first edition holo in the set. So that is very good for us. Luckily, we're not missing the Gengar. That would be very hard to find. So, do you have a favorite from this set? Do you have a favorite vintage set at all? If so, please let me know in the comments. I'd absolutely love to hear. Also, there will be a pinned comment down there. If you have a set you'd like to see featured in either a Master Set Monday or a Wishlist Wednesday, please post it as a response to that comment, and I will do my best to feature it in an upcoming video. So thank you all for watching, and I will see you guys next time.